I created a spiritual philosophy called Hindu Conceptualism, which states that not energy but conceptions is the fundamental principle of all creation. Now, while I have that philosophy and there's a website explaining what it is, I wanted to make a video first talking about what did I see in other philosophies that I thought were gaps or potholes that I could iterate on and improve for my own spiritual journey, for my own understanding, and hopefully for the understanding of others. To preface, this is not any disrespect to those who came before me, the Advaitin masters, the Kashmir Shaivites, the Dwaitins. I would not be here without them. With that said, this is my way of doing things, and that is breaking things apart and putting it back together. So, we'll start off with more of an anecdote. Started learning a lot of Advaita, read the books, watched the videos, did all the things that spiritual seekers do. Really liked Advaita for being the period at the end of the sentence. Oh, it's like the ultimate conclusion. This is the baseline, what I thought. Kashmir Shaivism has a beautiful structure and all that. I really liked that, accepted it for a while. And then I got into Kali Tantra. I was later initiated into Kali Tantra, did the japa, had many experiences, rituals, both externally and internally. Over time, I began to change. I not only really cared about the period, but I started to ask myself, what about the sentence? What about the words? What about the spacing? What about the grammar? What is being said here? And I felt like a lot of philosophies try to abstract what is being said. I think we can harmonize everything together. I think that the suffering of everyone and the beauty of this world does not need to be shadowed by the ultimate truth. It can all be one. And it doesn't have to be this cold conclusion. It can really be something beautiful that people can aspire to and live a life of ethics that aligns with the universe itself. And I wanted to make sure that if I were to iterate something, that it could make beautiful action within people to motivate people that does not contradict any logic. Now, we're going to start in a more timeline fashion, going into more of the logical aspects of philosophy. We'll start with the beginning of time, and we'll go with the Hindu thought in the majority of schools that this universal consciousness, we're not a god, universal consciousness, the very top, this Om, this Brahman, this Paramatma, this ever radiating awareness is nirguna, has no attributes, attributeless, which means you cannot objectify it, you cannot describe it, it is beyond those things. You cannot point to it and say it's that. This universal consciousness decides to split itself into a version of itself that knows itself. This version of itself that knows itself desires to know more about itself and create all of creation because it desires to know itself. Yeah, I want to because I want to. Yeah, that's circular logical fallacy, where the content is the same as the explanation. And you'll see this with a lot of, regular religion, Dwaita. You see this a lot with Kashmir Shaivism. This thing just wants to create the world because it wants to create the world. And separating aside from the South Asian axioms and logical through line, this circular logical fallacy is really the bottleneck, actually more of a chokehold. Pat yourself in the back and take a hike, because after that, I mean, what is there to iterate on? Like, what is there to do with that? I mean, pretty much you're saying that like that's pretty much it. You can't further understand the universe if we're just going to conclude like that. Um, and there's a strange uh, use of the word lila. Lila means play. That this whole universe and what's happening around us is just a play, and play happens for its own sake, and that doesn't happen. Play does never happens for its own sake in our experience. Play happens quite contextually for an emotional stimulant. Now we'll get into the second problem. The second problem is karma. Karma is the biggest pain in the side of Hindu philosophy. It is the most accepted axiom within all of South Asian philosophies. Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, all of them fall under this category of the karmic traditions. Now, what is karma? Karma is not just I do good and good comes back to me. No, it's not just that. It's cause and effect. Every cause leads to the next effect. That effect leads to the next cause. Creating all the phenomena before us. Even to the extent of your next birth. The conditions of your birth is determined by this karmic understanding of a previous life. Reincarnation is like a subcategory of karma. So, explaining all the phenomena, the status of any particular thing, object, and being is through karma. Now, going back to the first problem, circular logical fallacy. There is a break in karma if that were to be true. If this universal consciousness decides to create creation because it wants to create creation, it makes it so that all of phenomena is not grounded in its origin. It's a fatal inconsistency. Now, how do you get around that? Third thing. If I say everything is fake, it's just an appearance within consciousness. It's Maya. Maya is illusion. And you will hear this a lot within Hindu thought, that this whole world, this whole being, this identity, this body, this mind, all of the thoughts within it is Maya. It's illusion. It's not real. There's only one absolute truth, and that is that the nirguna universal consciousness, that ever present awareness that is radiating forth. Sure, cool. All right. Everything is apparent within awareness. I can get behind that. But then why does this nirguna, this non-attribute universal consciousness, create the world in the first place and then creates a storyline of me being a normal person, me being a spiritual person, me meditating and reading books, and then going to a school, and then being enlightened, and then melding myself back into nature? Like, why a whole storyline then? Why an arc to the world, which is a flavor to the world, to what you claim is non-attribute, attributeless? The Advaitas have a very funny term, anirvachaniya, which is unexplainable. It's the biggest shrug. We don't know. If you watch a lot of like Advaitin videos and the interviewer asks, well, then why this creation? Why this particular world in the first place? Yeah, they throw around this word and then they dodge that. They dodge that question like a boxer dodging bunches, man. They're like, we have no real explanation to why a school in the first place, why do any of this? Because if it was really true, that this universal consciousness is just here and it's true whether we know it or not, you'll hear that as well from them, from all sorts of non-dual schools. It's true whether you know it or not. Then I should just be able to live my life and die however I want it to. Universal consciousness will expand and contract over and over again, leading to, whatever. the ultimate creation and dissolution that enlightens everyone, or everyone melds back into this oneness with the universe just by living your life, not by doing meditation and stuff like that and learning. Makes no sense. Then we have the fourth issue, which is this expanding and contracting that I talked about earlier. Is Brahman, is this Paramatma, is this Om really free? If everything is Maya, if everything is just an illusion, regardless of its appearance, is this just a trap? This universal consciousness expands and contracts, creating what is essentially the same thing over and over again, regardless of its appearance. It's all Maya. It's just going to do the same thing over and over and over again. It sounds like a limitation within Brahman, which you claim is ever present and ever free. That can't be true. If it really was ever present and ever free, it would demonstrate that. But it can't. If it was Maya from beginning to end, and from end to beginning and beginning to end, it's just this Maya. It's a true limitation to what you claim is limitless. So those are really the four main issues. We'll now get into Hindu conceptualism's response to these four things, these four issues. These deserve their own lengthy video. Stay tuned for that. But for now, we'll just keep it brief. Number one, how to get around circular logical fallacy. We make Brahman more mechanistically coherent. We say that upon being a singularity, when all of dissolution happens and everything becomes one, which is a given axiom within most of Hinduism, infinite potential, by definition, necessitates particularity. At any given point, it becomes a singularity. It necessitates its expansion, by definition. This expression happens through an unfolding of ontologically real conceptions. This unfolding is through a force. This force is called karma. Karma from beginning to end happens. Each time a conception is unfolded, every time Brahman unfolds, it is through karmic recursion. Brahman, conception, split, conceptions, more conceptions, more conceptions, more conceptions. Complete lattice of conceptions, which is driven by karma. That's how we keep karma consistent and a through line throughout the whole philosophy. Big karma philosophy, this Hindu conceptualism. Number three, the universe is not Maya. Everything's backed by a real conception. The universe is not an appearance within consciousness. Everything literally is consciousness awareness. Everything is aware in such that it's not in stasis. It can retain blessings. It can be worshipped. Retaining all of the spiritual and ritual aspects within Hinduism, and making sure that you as a person actually have a storyline that makes sense. You actually have a reason to study and go out and learn. Your ignorance is real. The world is real. Your design is real. Who you are particular in the world. Number four, is Brahman trapped? Forever expanding and forever contracting within the same content? No, because everything is not Maya, and everything is ontologically real. When everything contracts back, when all of karmic expression happens, and Brahman then, by necessitation of karma, because karma wants to keep making cause and effect, necessitates the reverse. It collapses in on itself. When that collapse happens, it expands again, by definition, by necessitation of its definition, referring back to the first answer that we had. And each time it does, something different happens. Because I say that the gods are real. The gods are ontologically real conceptions. They can set different modalities. They can set different constants within the universe. The speed of light is not necessarily the speed of light in this universe, and all that stuff. Different quarks, all the measurable things can change and ultimately express differently the modality of the material universe. The next universe won't be the same as this universe. Every universe is different. Every universe is a potentiality of Brahman. And that's why Brahman is truly infinite and truly free. That's a quick and gross summary of what Hindu conceptualism's answer to those things are. I implore people to go to the website for further information. If you have any questions, please comment down below. With that said, this is the Hindu Conceptualist signing out.